Hello， 大家好，我是马蒂斯思，古典乐不难懂，听我讲就对了。大家可能发现今天的背景稍微有点不一样啊，我不是在我家，我是在巴黎爱乐大厅的休息室，演员的休息室。非常荣幸今天能够邀请到著名的小提琴家、小提琴教育家，也是鼎鼎大名的柏林汉斯埃斯勒音乐学院的教授安吉维塔斯，来到我的频道，跟大家一起聊聊音乐，聊聊小提琴。You will play in China next year.
Yes.
And you will play, I think the six sonatas and partitas or Bach in one concert or two concerts.
Oh, I need to double check the schedule. There is I think at least in China 2 or even 3.
Because
there is one in Taiwan, and then there's definitely one in Shanghai. I need to double check.
Yeah,
but it's more than one.
I think at least you will play in China, in Shanghai, at least.
At least Shanghai. I think there's something in Shenzhen.
In Shenzhen, okay, we will check it.
Well, I don't know exactly yet. I really need to double check on my schedule.
No problem. Okay. And how do you like the Bach for sonatas and partitas or violin solo?
Good question. Mm-mm. I think we all love it and we hate it at the same time.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like a paradox.
It's a paradox. Yeah, of course. It's the greatest music you can play.
Yes.
And especially if you do the cycle, this journey, you go from the G minor up to the E major. Yeah, it's for me. It's also, I'm not religious, but it is a religious journey.
Yes, exactly.
And I find it also interesting. What does it make with you if you play the whole 6 in one evening? It's really something meditation. Something you also did it probably, right?
Yes.
And it's a challenge. But it's also something very satisfying as a human being.
Of course.
Not so much satisfying as the violinist, because there are always places where you're not happy with.
Do you consider to play it with I think it's like HIP, historically informed performance? You think about it when you're playing?
No, I think about it when I'm practicing it. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And it is, I think... this music has to be very lively. And if we look back in the tradition of playing Bach, especially in the time where we had all these virtuosic players and this aesthetic of the beginning of the last century, where every note was sustained, and more important is the sound, and I think much more important is the gesture, and much more important is the voicing,
exactly.
The phrasing, and what you want to express with these different pieces. Yeah, that really this sadness, this deeply believing Protestant who wrote these 6 partitas and sonatas. So really a journey from the human being with all the sins on this world, and he tries to get out of that and to be transfigured in the end. So the soul and everything is in that pieces, and that has to be brought out, and it has to be emotional. I think if you play Bach dry, no, that's it's not Bach, because it's so full of everything which is important for us as human beings.
Yes, exactly. So recently, I think more and more violinists or instrument players accepted the theories HIP, historically informed performance, and they put it less or more in their performance. And there is a concern that if everyone plays exactly like what it wrote in the sheets, and maybe the performance will become uniform, become the same.
You think so?
I don't think so, but I think there is a concern.
I think it's very easy to do what you want. To be interesting, if you do what you want, it's not really tricky. If you try to be really convincing with doing what the composer wrote, that's much more tricky. But of course it's possible.
Yes.
Because what are we doing? So we read the score. So this is something we have to digest it. So we have to digest it. We have to make it to our own language. But of course, with everything which is written in that, and then if you digest it with a lot of empathy for the composer, then you can find your own interpretation. And
Exactly.
it sounds very individual.
Yes, yes.
And if you want to do whatever you want, just compose your own pieces.
Yes, exactly.
You can do that. It's a free world. So just do it. But please don't use great composers
To do your own
to
composition.
your own, yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever.
So whatever.
You know.
So you're saying the theory maybe HIP makes a great progressive for the music interpretation.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yes, and I think that today we have these fantastic editions, and it's also interesting if you see different urtext editions.
Yes, it's still different.
It's yeah. But what does it mean? It means also look at the sources. Yeah, the good publishers they have this little sentences below that they decided because of that for that. But it also means if we have the sources, we can be we can decide by ourselves, and it has always to do, for what you decide has to do how you feel the piece, what you want to say with that.
So in your own language.
In the language of the composer, but with your own
tune.
personality.
Personality, yeah. Even I think looking at the manuscript by the composer himself, it's still some, maybe like we can say the error
Or misunderstandings, or sometimes if they write it every time different, they want it.
Yes.
A good example for me is Dvorak, or also Brahms. Brahms never repeats something in the same way. Never. It's a different instrumentation, different dynamic, even different phrasings. And this is the same with Dvorak and all these genius composers. It's never just repeated.
Yes, exactly.
So just have a look for that and digest it and feel it in the end. This is very important.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Thank you very much.
my
Thank
pleasure.
you very much, and looking forward to meeting you in Shanghai or
Shanghai.
everywhere in China.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you.